Hi, and welcome to another episode of Ecto. My name is Michelle, and I'm going to be your host tonight. And I have a couple stories for you tonight. They're a little off what we're usually talking about, but one of my friends had emailed me a story, and I just have to read the story. It's crazy. I don't know if you want to call it about ghosts, fairies, whatever you want to call it, but it is absolutely crazy, so definitely worth a listen. And then the next story after that, it's going to be actually about an apartment that I lived in Rosamond, California years ago. So, anyways, I'm going to play just a little bit of music for you real quick so I can get prepared here and get everything going on in the groups and stuff. So, I'll be back in just a couple minutes. Thank you.
When you see it, girls, it's more like you. Giving out to twice I do. When I say I'm not a blues, I choose to be not the blues. The dog is good, I choose to be the permanent blues.
On Facebook Marketplace, you can buy basketballs or paintings for your walls from neighbors like Michelle or Paul.
Hi.
Hello.
Because on Facebook Marketplace, there's a real person behind the things for sale. Facebook Marketplace. Shop with real people for really great finds.
KBLP LLC. Check us out on iHeart, Speaker, YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, with the best podcasters in the business. Denise Harris, Chris Stevens, Michelle Auger, Ike Diaz, Desiree Pickett, Anissa Nicole, Cecilia Flores, Lolita Diaz. Sponsored by TBs303.com. We are also looking for new podcasters. Inbox any of our podcasters or me, Ike Diaz, directly on Facebook, and someone will get back with you ASAP.
I think I'm a ghost, can't do things people like the most. Give you bread, I can't make you toast. This could be the end. I think I'm a ghost, can't do things people like the most. Cautious saying those things, cause that's what you say because you get paid to do it. I think I'm a ghost, can't do things people like the most. Give you bread, I can't make you toast. This could be the end.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Ecto. My name is Michelle. This first story I have is, it's a little off kilter from what we normally do, but I just found it interesting. She had emailed this to me, and didn't know if it would fit on the show, but I think it kind of falls along the lines. It's really bizarre. Let me see here. Oh, I printed it out. Okay. And she says here, in 2001, I had bought my first home. She said it was just an amazing feeling. I was just on top of the world. I had moved into the house, and the former owners had actually come over to visit and, just tell me about the creaks and whatever of the house and things to watch out for, different things. Like there's a loose board in the den, whatever. So, and then the lady handed me this thimble. And I thought, well, that's odd. I don't sew. She didn't say anything. She says, you're going to need this. And she said, again, I just kind of thought, like, this is just bizarre. So, she had just put the thimble in the drawer and never thought about it. And she said, let's see, a few months after moving into this house, I started noticing things missing. Just small things. She said, like a sock here or a shirt there. Once in a while, my keys would go missing, but they would always turn up in this cabinet. I didn't think twice about it. She said, I thought maybe I just lost my mind, was in a hurry, and put them somewhere and didn't realize it. Well, then other things started going missing, like my shoes. She said, on a daily basis, my shoes, she said, I would take them off and walk into the bathroom or something and come out and one of them would be gone. She said, I don't have animals. I don't have, anything like that. So I thought maybe there was some kind of animal in the house, like, a rat or a raccoon or something. So I had a exterminator come over. Found nothing. After a few months more, it started getting bad. I would set something down, turn around back again, and it would be gone. Everything from kitchen spoons to things like that. And she said one time I was down in the basement and I seen there was like a medicine cabinet type thing down there. And I was looking, she said I hadn't seen it before, but I really didn't spend much time down there. I opened the cabinet and inside there was a handwritten note that said a thimble of milk. And I thought, well, that's weird. That lady gave me a thimble. That's strange. So she said she went by a few more months and it was becoming maddening. Like she just couldn't put anything down. She said it got to the point she'd brush her hair, put the brush down, go answer the phone and come back and her brush would be gone. So she finally in a supermarket, in a supermarket I saw the former owner. I had asked her why she gave me that thimble and asked her if anything strange had happened in the house while they were there. And the lady looked down and said, yes, that's why I gave you the thimble. Didn't you see the note? She said, what note? The former owner looked at me and said that I needed to lay out a thimble of milk every night down by the medicine cabinet in the basement and all my things will stop going missing. She said, I thought I had lost my mind looking at this woman thinking, what on earth are you talking about? And the lady whispered in her ear, fairies. And she says, what? Oh my gosh, I thought this woman had lost her mind telling me to do all this. And so I started researching everything from ghosts, poltergeists, aliens, and then one day I actually decided to go look up fairies. And in the library, it said that fairies love milk. And if you put it out as an offering, they will leave you alone. And she said I was at the end. I didn't know what else to do. So she said I went ahead and did it against my better judgment. I thought I'm just going to do this and, whatever. It's just a thimble full of milk. That's all I'm losing. So she got out the thimble from the drawer and she put milk in it, went downstairs and put it in her medicine cabinet. The next day, she said, I went downstairs and I couldn't believe it. The milk was gone from the thimble. She said, okay, I'm going to go through this day and see what happens. She said, for the first time in a very long time, I went for an entire day with nothing going missing in my house. Not one thing. She said, I couldn't believe it. I was just stunned. And she literally put I period, just like that. She said, I was stunned. She said, so the next night I put out a thimble of milk. Same thing. Nothing went missing. She said, a few years of doing this, I never had anything missing. Well, one night I forgot to buy milk and I was out. She said I wasn't able to put out the thimble of milk. She said the next day I had 4 things go missing in my house. She said they all ended up in different cabinets and drawers and things like that, but they were not there. She says, Michelle, can you believe any of this? She says, it's hard for me to even tell you this because it's true. And I still live in this house and I still have to put out this milk every single day or stuff in my house goes missing. Wow. Okay, so that's a little wild. So basically she's saying that in this house, this woman told her that there's fairies in this house and that it was a special thimble that she gave her. She went into more detail like before the story, but I didn't want to read all that, but it basically said that it was a special thimble, and the woman told her that it was only in that medicine cabinet. She had to put it, and she said that the former owner actually believed that medicine cabinet was some kind of portal. And they would come through, and if she didn't have that milk ready for them, they would come in her house and take her stuff. So that goes in the realm of wow. I don't even know. I mean, I believe her because I know her. I mean, I believe that she thinks something's. I don't know if that's going on, but you never know. Hey, I believe in ghosts. I believe in other things. So who knows? It's very possible. Who knows? There could be a little dimension, fairy realm dimension. You never know. It's very possible. Anything's possible. So, but apparently, she had to use a special thimble and put milk in it as an offering, and they came and drank it and left her alone, and are still leaving her alone because she's still in this house. So, what's your thoughts on that? Message me at KBLP LLC on Facebook, I'm going to put it in the comments of this post after I post it, and let me know what you think about it, if you actually believe. So, actually, I'll make a special post about it, so definitely, I want you all to let me know what you think, because I'm kind of on the fence on this one. I don't know if it's maybe if it's actually some kind of poltergeist or paranormal thing. I don't know, but I mean, maybe there could be, Hey, there's people out there that believe all kinds of things, and then, and who am I to say it's not true, because nobody knows. So anyways, I am going to be right back. I'm going to play just one song and catch my breath here, because I'm not feeling real well today, and my breathing's off, I'm sure you can tell. And I will be back in just a couple minutes, and I'm going to tell you about this apartment that I had stayed at in Roseman, California when I was younger, and there was always weird stuff happening there. Well, a friend of mine had stayed in that apartment building and was telling me that the people that came after us, there were several that would not stay in that apartment. And we were there for years, and we seen a lot. So, me and my family, my mom, my sister, was when I was younger. So, anyways, I will be right back. Just give me a few minutes.
Trying to find a little piece of heaven, and I stole
On Facebook Marketplace, you can buy basketballs or paintings for your walls from neighbors like Michelle or Paul.
Hi.
Hello.
Because on Facebook Marketplace, there's a real person behind the things for sale. Facebook Marketplace. Shop with real people for really great finds.
KBLP LLC. Check us out on iHeart, Speaker, YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, with the best podcasters in the business. Denise Harris, Chris Stevens, Michelle Auger, Ike Diaz, Desiree Pickett, Anissa Nicole, Cecilia Flores, Lolita Diaz. Sponsored by TBs303.com. We are also looking for new podcasters. Inbox any of our podcasters or me, Ike Diaz, directly on Facebook, and someone will get back with you ASAP.
On Facebook Marketplace, you can shop for everything from strollers to lawnmowers to video game controllers. You can buy a briefcase from Faith, sell a basketball to Paul, or buy a record player from a neighbor named Taylor. See, there's a face in a book, and a market in a place where we can search and connect face to face. Facebook Marketplace. Buy and sell together.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to Ecto. This next story is actually from my history. When I was a kid, well, not really a kid, but an older teenager, from the ages of 17 and 19, my parents had lived in this apartment in Rosamond, California, and this apartment was just haunted as all get out. I mean, you never, seen apparitions or anything like that, but just the strangest crap would happen in this apartment. I mean, just crazy stuff. Like the night light in the hallway, you would just sit there and not only watch it go on and off, it was one of those switch ones that you could turn on and off, and you could hear the switch turning, just like click, click, click. And it would go on and off. And our neighbors upstairs said when we weren't home, they could actually hear, cabinets slamming and, something was really angry down there. And, and they said that they'd go knock on the door and the noise would stop. And we wouldn't be home. When we got home, they would come out and tell us, hey, we think there's someone in your house. Go in there, there's nobody there. But we did notice, stuff in the cabinets kind of a little askew, I guess you could say. Well, at the time, me and my sister, we were pretty young, and my parents were truck drivers, and they would leave us home, We weren't, little kids. We were older kids, so we could be left home. But sometimes it would be, weeks at a time. So, of course, being kids, we would have parties and different things like that. And it always seemed like after a party is when, weird things would happen in the house. One night I had actually fallen asleep in the living room, and I had seen this white mist, just floating in the hallway, and it was coming into the living room, and I could see it just moving so slow. It was almost like it was just kind of scanning for movement. Well, I was paralyzed. I just stopped. I held my breath, everything. I just sat there and watched this thing. Then I watched it go back towards my sister's room. After a few years went by, it started kind of getting worse, I guess you could say. The windows would, you'd have the window open to get fresh air in the house, and slam, it would close. I had a dog, Clippers, and this dog was mean. It was a mean dog. But she was very protective of her family. That dog would sit there by you, and she'd be sitting on your lap, and she'd just be growling at the air. It was the craziest thing. A few years had gone by, and my sister and I both ended up... Well, before I tell you that part of it, my sister's personality changed in that apartment, too. She kind of went from... kind of like a shy little sister type to just real tough. She started fighting, and I don't know if it was just her growing up or if it was that apartment, but she kind of took on a different personality type. She went from just a few years prior to she would run to me for everything, it's she'd get in trouble, I'd protect her, and it's all of a sudden she started fighting. Like, there was even a time these girls, we were older teenagers, like I said. I think I was 18 at the time and she was 16. And we were walking, and this is the Mojave Desert, so we were walking, like, on the shortcut through the desert, so we didn't have to walk around, and these girls had come up. And my sister was dating this guy, and these girls, I guess, didn't like that. And they were in her face. So I'm there, I'm thinking, oh boy, I'm going to have to take these girls out, or I'm going to fight. So I'm taking out my earrings. It's back in the 80s. And all of a sudden, my sister, just drops this one girl. I mean, just hits her and drops her. The other girl's running away, and my sister throws a rock at her to stop her. So, you know what I'm saying? It's like, like I said, that was also back in the 80s. People did stuff like that without cops being called, stuff like that. But then a few months later, these same girls accosted us kind of at this convenience store there called an AM/PM. And my sister just she grabs a gallon of milk and just commenced to beating the crap out of this girl. I mean, just beating her. But then something else took over her. It's like this guy that she was dating at the time, he was kind of like a player, He's a bit of a player, and he was, jerking my sister around and just being, I was kind of not paying attention at the time. I was kind of in my own world. My parents had, basically left two children, you don't want to say children, but teenagers, at the house, and it's like, I just did my own thing. I was supposed to be taking care of my sister, but I wasn't doing it, and, I used to go into LA all the time and used to do things, and I would leave her and I would bring her home like a hot dog or something and call it good. But I noticed something else though with her. She started getting into this depression, and I didn't know if it was because of me or because of the situation, but she was in that apartment alone a lot. And one night we had this party, and my sister kind of disappeared, and we kind of all hang out with the same people because her and I were only 2.5 years apart. And this idiot had broke her heart again. Well, she pretty much goes unresponsive, so we rush her to the hospital. I mean, just rush her to the hospital. And she had pretty much died there, and they brought her back to life. She had taken some pills of my mother's, which were heart medicine, and she tried to kill herself over this idiot. And just, and I never attributed it to the apartment at the time. Now I'm starting to really think about stuff, you know what I mean? If there was this influence in this apartment that made her this way. Do you know what I mean? Well, then, she recovers from that. And, a lot of stuff happened in our family, different dynamics, and, kind of took over. Older brothers and sisters thought they were going to swoop in, save the situation, whatever. But just some odd things started happening, and then a few years go by, and her and I both ended up pregnant at the same time. It was just the strangest thing. She was 16, and I was 19. And we both were pregnant at the exact same time. Just our babies were born 2 months apart. And it was at this apartment. We were both still living at home, living with mommy and daddy. And, well, my mom had gotten off the road and got a job to kind of, stay home with us and take care of things. And my mom's health started going to the crapper. There, too, she had a heart attack and all this stuff, and then there was all this fighting in the house, and then we brought these kids into the situation, and it seemed to calm down a little bit after that. But our dog Clippers too, she would curl up around our children, and she would just growl. She was so protective of these kids, even people that came over to the house that just wanted to come visit. She wouldn't let them anywhere near the kids. I mean, she was just that she was a psychotic dog, but she was a good dog to us. That's all I'm going to say to that. But, anyways, even in this apartment, one time my nephew was smiling at nothing. He was smiling at the air and the window slammed shut. And my sister was convinced this house was just evil. And, and I knew it was haunted. I knew it was, but I just didn't know, who, what, or why, because back then nobody told you anything. They didn't have to. And anyways, we eventually moved out of there and we moved to Oklahoma. Well, I had friends that's still around there, and they told me that apartment never had people there for more than a few months. They left after a few months. So I had started digging, and I found out that some guy had died in that apartment. So that was kind of a little unsettling that wasn't told to us. Do you know what I mean? So I still wonder to this day, like, if that person that was there had an influence over my sister, like, changed her behavior, because it was just the strangest thing. I mean, she went from, she was never, like, a weak kid, but you know what I mean? She was always kind of, like, shy. She always kind of was withdrawn a little bit, you know what I mean? To just, like, this, hey, I'm here, kind of, and just, her behavior changed. I mean, she, like I said, the fighting, and then, like, her suicide attempt, it wasn't her. Do you know what I mean? So, and I think living in that place actually changed her personality and the dynamic of her for, like, the rest of her life, because even now, you know, we're both in our 40s now, and it's like, she's still, like, this, like, just very boisterous and just, I mean, I don't want to say bossy, but you know what I mean? Like, she's just kind of got to be in control at all times, or she just doesn't feel her. And that wasn't her personality before that apartment. So it just kind of makes you wonder, like, you know, if a spirit can influence you that much. But I would actually like to go to that apartment someday again, just to move that person on, or try to, because that's just sad that they're stuck in that place. But I seen it, though. That mist that night, I mean, it scared me, because, I mean, I had seen stuff before, but it was usually like apparitions and stuff, but this thing was like this, like a white mist. And I remember laying there, and I could just see it just floating, and it was just the weirdest thing. So yeah, there was definitely something there. Is there anybody out there that has had any kind of experience like this, where a place has changed your personality, or anybody around you? Do you feel like a spirit influenced them, or influenced you, for that matter, or maybe your children? But yeah, this place, and people, they said people wouldn't stay there for more than a few months, and we were there for years. So yeah, I really do think that something had, because, like, I was thinking about it a few weeks ago too, about that place, and how her personality had changed so much there. Like, she went from just kind of like this kid. I mean, we both had seen a lot, because we were, you know, we grew up in poor communities, and kind of like in different neighborhoods where you kind of had to, you seen stuff, you know. But it's like, she was always kind of withdrawn and just shy, man. When she got to this place, it was like, boom, here I am, bitch. You know, that's how she was. And it changed after that place. And so, I don't know. It's just really bizarre thing. I would love to go there and move whatever that is on, or help them move on. I think that would be a good thing to do, or have somebody do it that has, you know, better abilities than what I could ever have. So yeah, I think that would be good. But anyways, yeah, I would love to hear your stories. Contact me through KBLP LLC on Facebook. And please tell me your stories. I've already had some people do it. People email me. There's a couple of them I don't read on the air, because, like, there was a friend of mine who swore she had sex with a ghost. Yeah, we don't need to hear all that. But I really want to hear, like, you know, like, hauntings that, you know, if you've ever had, like, closure to it, or if it's still happening. So please, definitely let me know. Right now at KBLP LLC, you can go on Facebook. We're there. We're also on YouTube right now, which is KBLP LLC 4. And you can listen to any of our shows there. We're on iHeartRadio. So please, yes, look us up and check it out, and message me, please. Go right into the KBLP LLC on Facebook and just hit message, and put Michelle, you know, Ecto, and just please, definitely let me know what's going on. I would love to hear from you. So anyways, this is the end of this episode. I'm trying to think. Next week, I'm working on a friend of mine here in town. She claims that she has something in her basement. And I'm thinking about trying to go there. I don't know if I want to, though, because I don't know if I want to get into all that kind of mess. But I'm seriously thinking about it. So I'm working on that right now. And I also have a friend of mine who's going to tell me a story of when they lived in Maine. And it's some pretty crazy stuff. This is like alien stuff there. So, yeah, like for me, the paranormal doesn't have to be dead. It can be anything. Aliens, or tonight's case, fairies, put out your thimble of milk. But yeah, I had heard stuff like that before about, different fairies. And you hear stuff and on TV shows and stuff. So I don't know. You never know what's true. But I have heard that before. So maybe it's true. Maybe in her house there's a portal for that. Apparently they aren't very nice because they hide your stuff. So anyways, you all have a good night, and I will see you next week. And like I said, I am working on some stories and getting some stuff, and I really want to interview my sister too about that apartment. And, just tell me, like, if she ever felt like her personality changed in that place, or if something was influencing her. So I'm definitely going to talk to her pretty soon and find out about that. So anyways, I'm going to get going here, and I will talk to you all next week. Have a good night.